Manifestation and abundance have been probably the two most exciting topics to me ever since I started my spiritual awakening journey. There's just something about those subjects that seem to really impact our human lives a lot. And I know that not everybody's main focus is money, especially here in this community of people. I know that the vast majority of you have discovered that there's a truly specialness to life that doesn't require an obsession with money to be able to experience. However, I wanted to make this video and I want to let you know I'm going to peel back the curtain and I'm just going to be super authentic and share with you guys something that I've learned when it comes to money. See, I've had an experience where I had really no money at all and I was living in my car, just eating canned food and fasting a lot, which means just not eating because of what I had, basically. And that was a really long period of my time, to be honest. And then I went from that to being the number one person in my entire life that I know making as much money as I was. Like I've never in my whole family or anybody I've ever known anybody that was making that much money and having that much success. And then I went from that to some pretty big financial issues again. And then I've managed to rise out of that back into financial flow. So I wanted to make this video and be extremely genuine. My only intention in this video is to be absolutely honest with you about what I've learned when it comes to attracting more money into your life. Now, is money going to bring you happiness? I've discovered no, it doesn't. But what does bring me happiness personally, what does help me to feel more in alignment and enjoy my experience is having lots of time to myself and being able to do the things that I want to do. I don't enjoy having to go do things that I don't want to do to be able to live my life. Nobody does, honestly. So that's what I've discovered is money is an important topic when it comes to living our lives and living it freely and happily, because the more opportunity you have to, in any given moment, whatever you feel like doing, be able to do that, to be able to travel, to be able to pay all your bills and have extra money to help anybody who comes along that needs it. That feels really good. Now, I want to let you know, I've made a few videos about this subject before with certain ideas in it that I look back and I see what I was saying, but I want to let you know that I didn't know what I was talking about. I thought that I was making a bunch of money for a specific reason that I've learned isn't actually true. And the way that I attracted financial issues and the way that I have attracted financial wealth again is very simple and clear. That's why I'm making this video, because I discovered what it is. So here's the basic premise. In order to attract abundance, you have to be able to create the feeling of abundance right now. You have to feel abundant for abundance to come, if this makes sense. You have to feel wealthy for wealth to come to you. And there's more intricate pieces to this that I'm going to explain, but I want to let you know that's the simple premise. The other thing that I've learned, that's the other premise that I'm going to be sharing with you in this video, is that I've discovered that abundance is the nature of reality. Abundance is always happening. So it's not possible to experience lack. There's no such thing. If you're experiencing lack, it's that you're experiencing an abundance of lack. If you have a bunch of problems and challenges in your life, you have an abundance of challenges and problems. If you have lots of wealth and free time, you have an abundance of wealth and free time. See, everything is abundance, everything. And I've learned that whatever you have an abundance of is what you're giving your attention to and focusing on. When I had no money and was just eating canned food, there was a specific way that I felt. I remember that I felt, generally speaking, like I needed help. That's what I remember feeling. I remember feeling like I need help. I need someone to help me get out of this situation. Now, here's the interesting thing. And I'm not going to share people's names because it's actually a pretty long list. And if I forget somebody, I would feel bad, because everybody who donated to me on my YouTube channel at that time helped me to shift into a really good momentum in my life. And I'm so grateful. What ended up happening was I remember feeling at first like I was scared that I didn't know if I was going to succeed on YouTube. And I was living in my car. So I was giving everything I had to YouTube, but I really believed inside of myself I could do it. But again, I had no money and I was just eating canned food every few days, and it was cold in the wintertime in my car. So I remember feeling scared and like this feeling like I needed help. But then out of nowhere came this feeling that I just really felt like I started connecting a lot with people on YouTube who were really nice and kind people. And I started bumping into a lot of people on trails out here that were really good people. And everybody was so nice. So I remember I started feeling genuinely like everybody is amazing and everybody is so special and positive and everybody wants to help each other. And I remember I was helping people all the time. I was speaking with people. I was helping people through their issues with stuff I had learned. I was giving my time to people. I'm going to move over here because I don't want the wind to mess up my microphone. I've got a big rock shield right here. So basically, I remember that I started feeling like people really are good helping people, and anybody who has something gives it to others. And I immediately started receiving donations on my YouTube channel, which I had not been getting before at all. So all of a sudden, I was making money from people just out of the kindness of their hearts who appreciated my content, clicking the support button in my description. And that was really cool. Now, what ended up happening is I began to feel like, oh my gosh, the universe is supporting me. I'm supported. I can do what I love. Look, support is coming, right? I didn't care what way it came from. All I knew was that it was coming. And so I started to feel safe and protected and like I could trust the universe. Now, the more I started to feel like everything that I was doing was going to work out, and I was treating the fact that people had donated money and I was able to eat and pay my car payment, I was treating that as evidence that I am abundant and the universe has my back. Now, because I started feeling that way, I started having a lot of abundance of ideas. And so what I want to point out to you guys is that when I was feeling scared and like I didn't have enough, that was the only thing that I could experience. When I started feeling and I started putting out a vibration that said, people want to help me, people want to see me succeed, that's what started happening. People started donating to me and I started succeeding more. My channel started getting momentum. Now, ultimately, what ended up happening, now I want to shift over to the time of my life where I was making so much money. Like, it was crazy. I was like almost overwhelmed by it. Like, I couldn't believe it. I remember how I felt. I stopped thinking about money entirely at that time. Now, this was before all the money started coming, by the way. I stopped caring entirely because there were some very awesome things going on in my life. My channel was doing well. I had a lot of cool ideas. I had made friends. We were traveling around in Mount Shasta together. Every day was like an adventure. I felt totally free from society and its boundaries and all these things. I just felt great. I felt so pumped every day. I was in a really good vibe. So I didn't even think about money. I didn't care. At that point, I was still getting enough donations that I was able to eat and stuff. So I didn't care. I didn't feel like there was anything that I needed. I felt truly like I had everything I could possibly want. And so I was feeling really abundant. I remember I felt like the sun was shining all the time at that time of my life. I just felt great. And I started making tons of money from my crystal business of selling crystals. And my videos started going viral, and I was actually making some money from ad revenue. You guys might not be aware of how much money you make from ad revenue, but basically, in order to pay my bills, I would have to be getting 10,000 views per video on average. I've already done the math. So you don't actually make that much from ads unless you have a really viral channel. So that's what was happening. It was going really well. All this money started coming, and I remember I didn't even care. Honestly, I didn't even care about money. I literally did not care. All I felt was just like, I just remember I had this feeling like I had made it. I discovered the magic within myself and the magic of the universe, and I felt truly abundant. And money was just coming out the hoo-ha. My videos were going viral. I was making all kinds of friends. Everything was going amazing. I attracted my soulmate, who's now my fiance, and we're engaged. I was able to afford myself and buy a van, and I basically was able to build that whole van out into a van life thing instead of living in my Ford Fiesta. So what I noticed the big difference is that the lack in my life came after I was offering a feeling that I was afraid that I wasn't going to make it. So the feeling came first. The manifestation came after. I remember when all the wealth came into my life, the feeling came first, the feeling that I had everything I needed. I want you to understand, I wasn't even thinking about money anymore. It wasn't even a topic to me. I didn't even care. I just genuinely felt like the universe had my back, and anything that I needed, I would be able to get in the moment that I needed it. Anything that was supposed to be here for me, it would be there. That's genuinely how I felt, raw, powerfully. No, I had no negative beliefs or negative vibrations going on in that area at that time. I literally felt everything is perfect. I'm totally taken care of all the time. So I didn't think about money. I never even checked my bank account. When I needed food, I just bought it. When I wanted a crystal at the store, I just bought it. I just did what I wanted. I didn't even think about it. And so tons of money, tons and tons and tons came. Then what ended up happening is I went through, I appreciate everybody who's willing to listen to the style of this video, by the way. I know it's not really like I do my others, but let me know if you find this helpful. Just me being straight up sharing with you what I've learned, because it is a different vibe, but I think it's powerful for me to be more human and vulnerable with you guys in this way and share sometimes, because maybe someone out there is waiting for something like this. Maybe this will help you, you know? I hope it does. And so what ended up happening is everything was going really well. My channel was viral. I was making tons of money. All the relationships in my life were perfect. I was able to travel. I went to Costa Rica. I was all over the world doing cool stuff, traveling around the United States, all my favorite places. And then I can see clearly what happened. I got, and I realize this is a sore subject for a lot of people, so I'm not going to get super into it. I bought a crystal that I ended up discovering in my own reality. Maybe this isn't the way it is in your reality, that it was a scam. And I remember feeling like I had been cheated. And I remember I started feeling like there are people out there in the world trying to take advantage of other people. And I remember that I started looking at crystals, which once had been a major source of abundance and power for me. I started looking at them as if I was being scammed and people were manipulating me and taking advantage of me. So I remember I did a full shift from basically feeling like everything was taking care of me and awesome to I started to look a lot at the negative aspects of reality. I started to bump into a lot of people who wanted to take advantage of me, was my experience. A bunch of people wanted to take advantage of me. I started to notice that all these people that I was paying for all their food and traveling and stuff, instead of feeling really positive that I was able to do that, I started looking at it as if I had attracted a bunch of leeches, right? So my whole perspective shift. And because my perspective shifted, I started feeling a lot of negativity and I started feeling a lot of lack. And I started losing my momentum on YouTube. I remember all of a sudden I started losing a bunch of subscribers and it seemed like people didn't care anymore about what I had to say. Hold on, let me fix my camera real quick. Sorry, guys. Sometimes my camera does weird things. So basically, that's the simple explanation of what happened. I started, instead of seeing everything as a gift, I started looking at all the negative aspects to everything. I started, basically, I was, all of a sudden, I felt like people were just out to get me and everybody just wanted to use me and no one actually cared about me. It was a really big shift in my perspective. I was going through a really shadow work time, okay? A lot of you guys were here still supporting me in that time, and I can't tell you how much that meant to me. I really needed you guys at that time. And for everyone who was really here for me and was just loving and supportive, like, thank you, because you helped me to maintain my focus that there is really good stuff and people in the world. So what ended up happening is I started getting all kinds of negative comments from people on YouTube, which had never happened before. People were being really judgy, telling me that I was like psycho and needed help and psychological help. And I remember that all of a sudden people stopped watching my videos, like basically 1/10 of the amount of views I was getting. Out of nowhere, it started happening. So basically I started focusing on negative stuff, like people are out to get me, started focusing on lack, I started focusing on scams, I started focusing on all this stuff. And I started noticing that all of a sudden I felt like people didn't care about me. And that was the feeling that I was putting out, that people are just taking advantage of me. People don't care. And what's really interesting is that that's the manifestation I started getting. People were leaving the channel. Nobody, when I say this, this was my perspective at the time. This is not the truth. It was my perspective. See, it doesn't matter what the truth is. It matters what your perspective and the vibration you're putting out is, because that's what ends up becoming real for you in that experience. But I basically felt like nobody cared anymore. And I remember I asked for financial help because what ended up happening was I canceled my whole business. That was a manifestation of the lack and negative vibes I was going through at the time. And then what ended up happening is I asked for help to everyone on YouTube. If everybody could donate $1, then I would actually be making about the same and I'd be okay and could keep making videos. And I was baffled that only like 100 people went and did that. So it really generated a lot of negativity in me. I was like, people don't care, you know, people don't care. So I kept putting that vibe out there. And literally what ended up happening is I went from making more money than anybody I'd known to having like serious debt and financial issues. Not only that, but I was like super depressed. I completely lost my motivation. I started wondering, do I even want to do YouTube? Who am I? I started wondering, where did my power go? What happened to me? I started feeling like a failure and a lot of lack and absence. And so it's interesting because I felt those feelings first, and then my situation changed. That's what I'm trying to point out to you guys. You have to feel abundant for abundance to come. Now, what's interesting is more recently, I read a book called The Amazing Power of Deliberate Intent, written by Abraham Hicks. And there was a vibe in it that when I started reading, I felt the energy behind her words. And that energy was me. It was me. I was myself, showing myself who I am. And I felt the sun shining. And I completely remembered the time where I was super successful and super abundant and everything was going awesome. I remember that that's the energy that I felt. I just felt so warm and like everything is perfect and happening for me. And that's what she writes about in that book. And she explained how your focus and what you're focused on is what is creating your reality. The funny thing is that I didn't know that at the time that I was really taking off and super successful. I didn't actually know that. At the time, I didn't really attribute my success to really anything other than the fact that I felt that the universe supported me and I could do whatever I want and I'd be awesome at it. So I like really believed in myself and the universe. I had absolute trust. I can't tell you guys how powerful that vibration is. Now, after manifesting a bunch of like negative issues and challenges for myself, it was really hard for me to trust the universe and trust life again. I felt like all of a sudden everything turned against me, right? And I didn't understand that it didn't turn against me. The universe has a fundamental law called the law of attraction. Whatever vibration you're putting out and whatever you're focused on becomes your reality. But I didn't understand it. I had learned about the law of attraction and talked about it before, but I didn't understand it. I didn't. And that's the honest truth. But I get it now. And it's pretty clear that when you focus on something and you put feelings and vibrations behind it that match it, that creates your experience. So when I learned that and I was able to see that that whole lack of trust I was going through and feeling like the universe and people were against me, when I realized that nothing was against me, the system works perfectly, it gives you whatever you're asking for, whatever you're focused on, whatever you're putting out, then I was able to unlock my trust again. Oh, the universe didn't betray me. It just is an unconditional universe. It gives you whatever you're putting out. There's no boundaries. You can manifest anything you want for yourself. And so when I realized that, I started feeling again like I could trust. I started feeling connected to my power again. And so basically over the last few weeks, I just discovered this vibration again, this amazing power. And it's very simple. I understand that it might be hard for you, like it was for me, to shift out of financial debt and lack and issues and relationship challenges and I have to do this horrible job that I don't love. I understand. I really do because I'm human and I'm here too and I'm also going through it with you. And what I want to let you know that I've learned is that what you need to do is understand that how you feel about reality is what creates the next scene. So it doesn't matter if there's a bunch of problems and challenges in your life right now. If you can stop giving those so much attention and start focusing on the aspects of life that do feel good, that do make you feel abundant, and you fully focus on those and you get really good at, I don't like the word control. I don't like the vibe of it, but controlling your thoughts. It's a little bit different than that. I'd say it's more like deliberately focusing, directing the power of your consciousness in a perfect stream and a deliberate focus and whatever you want it to be on. When you unlock that power, which you can focus on that more in basically meditation. You can also help to unlock that by checking out the key manifestation principles below that changed my life. It's a whole course I made with everything you need to know and all these really cool principles and activities that can help you to get to the position that I'm in now. And know that what you're focusing on is what's going to be created more of. So if you have financial debt, basically what you want to do to get out of that is stop thinking that you're in financial debt and start thinking that you're paying off your debt, right? So be real. Don't lie to yourself. You can't just stick your fingers in your ear and go, oh, I'm a gazillionaire, because you have to actually mean it vibrationally. And I found that the best way to really mean it is to be present and look what's actually going on. It's personally hard for me to live in a fantasy world in my mind because I'm very grounded now. I'm very practical, believe it or not. A lot of things I talk about, you're like, what? Nathan's practical? I'm very practical. Okay, I'm very scientific also. And I'm very here and I'm very realistic about life. And that is just who I am. So for me, it's hard for myself to fully get in my mind and go, okay, I'm a millionaire now. From what I've learned, that is possible, that you could immediately make that shift, but you have to not have conflicting beliefs and vibrations within you. So how can you shift from debt into insane financial wealth? How can you do that? Well, let me tell you how I did it. It's simple. There are things that I really love about my life. My fiance, Ruby, she's so good to me. She's so amazing, guys. I know I don't talk about her all the time because I talk about stuff that's more relevant to the conversation, but she's so good. She's such a great person. She loves me so much. I've never known that someone who loved me so furiously. So fiercely is the word that I'm looking for, not furious. So I started focusing more on how amazing she is and how grateful I was that I'm, 25 and I've already attracted this perfect person I know I'm going to spend my life with. I started focusing on my incredible best friend here, Lightning. I started paying more attention to the people who are really positive and awesome in my life, right? I started focusing on my friend Chad, who's really awesome. Hello, Chad. You have no idea how much you helped me, by the way. Maybe you do. But so I started focusing on really good things. I started focusing on my friend Karen, who has like literally been like an angel coming in and saving me all of the time at the perfect moments. I really hope you know how much you have really put out a really positive vibration for me to connect to, Karen. Seriously. So I started focusing on more things like that, right? I started focusing on how grateful I am that I'm in Sedona, which I've always wanted to live here, right? So instead of focusing on all these problems, I started focusing on the good things. And what's interesting is I started to build a vibration within me that says, I'm taken care of again. I also started to put out the vibration from learning what I learned from Abraham Hicks, that I am the creator of my own reality. And I could see that clearly. So I started to believe in myself again. So I started putting out a vibration that says, I know that I am in control of my experience. I know that I'm the one who creates what's going to happen tomorrow and the next day and the next day. So as I'm putting that vibration out, like I said, whatever you're focusing on is what you get an abundance of. So I started focusing on the things that make me feel good. I started focusing on the fact that I'm a powerful being who's created everything I've ever experienced. And because that's my focus, I have an abundance of those things. And so now it's true. You create what's true. Is it true that there are negative things going on in the world and people taking advantage of each other? Sure, yeah, it is true. But what I want to help you to understand that I've learned is that it doesn't matter if something's true. It matters if you want to experience the truth of it. Everything is possibly true. If you focus on something enough, you will see that it becomes real and true. And then because of the law of attraction, that truth that you are emanating, you'll attract all kinds of other people and situations that reflect that it is true. So if you put out a vibe that says people are horrible, you will see that that's true. And you're only going to bump into a bunch of horrible people. If you put out a vibe that says everyone is amazing and full of so much love and has so much that they want to give to each other and so much specialness and so much incredible vibe and this is a great experience, then you will put that vibration out. It will become true. And again, because of the law of attraction, you're just going to bump into people who are incredible and reflect that to you and who also believe the same things. So this, I hope, is the video about money that will change your life for the rest of your life. I really hope it does, because I see it clearly now that I really am the creator of my reality. And now that I know that that's what's actually happening, now I can be solid and balanced in that power, because I didn't get it before. I thought that it was because, I was in the perfect alignment to experience all those amazing things, but I didn't have a background understanding of what I was doing that was actually creating that. I thought that it was happening for other reasons. I thought that one of my crystals was like a magic portal that I had shifted to a timeline where I was like super incredibly successful. Now, I want you to understand that I'm not saying that that's not true. I have that crystal again, and it's been helping me a lot. I'll show you. It's my Diamantina Lemurian quartz. See, this is what came into my life when I started manifesting all kinds of success. So this one, I want to let you know that because that's what I believed, then I really felt like it was helping me with that. I put out the vibration to reality that says that I'm successful. Everything happens for me. I'm an almighty, powerful being who can shift to any timeline I want. And because that's the vibration I put out, that's what I experienced to be true. And I only attracted people and situations and financial ability and success on my channel that reflected that to me. So what we need to do, understand, is we need to use situations and things in life that help us to connect to the vibration that all is well. And goodness is the fundamental source of everything. So stop including people and ideas and beliefs and objects and career choices and things in your life that make you feel like you're trapped. Stop including those things, because the more you include them, the more you're going to attract more and more of that, and you're going to bury yourself in that hole. I've done it. I've seen it now. I've done that twice. I've also experienced massive success twice. And I've seen what happens in the pivot points. And I want you to know that it really is true, that what you're putting out to reality is what comes back to you. It's so true that if you don't believe that, You will attract truth and experiences in your life that show you that you are not the creator of your reality, because you are. See, it's a fundamental truth. That's the one law of the universe that is true for everybody unconditionally. It's the law of attraction. And I got to tell you something. Before we came here, before we manifested ourselves on earth, we knew that the law of attraction was good. We knew that it was perfect. We knew that no matter what we were focused on and putting out into life would come back to us tenfold. And we were really excited about that. So when you focus on something and it feels bad to you, understand that that's like your internal guidance system from who you really are, telling you clearly, stop giving your energy and focus to this because it's not taking you in the direction of what you really want for yourself in your heart. Can you believe how simple that is? That when you look at something and it feels bad while you look at it, the reason you feel bad is that simple. That bad feeling is meant to dissuade you from that. It's meant to say, whoa, that's not my direction, right? The things that you focus on that make you feel good. Like for me, my crystals make me feel really, really good. They do more now than they ever have. And I am really appreciative that I now have the background understanding that I am the power of that creation. But I've created a reality that's absolutely true where the power of crystals works and is true, and anybody can pick it up and it'll put out a vibration that you can immediately connect to and shift your reality. See, I really believe that. I've really experienced it. I've really attracted that to be true. I've also attracted to be true that I get to be and do whatever I want. I've attracted a reality where I get to make money and sustain myself making YouTube videos. That's incredible. I used to be a waiter at Chili's for I think like 4 or 5 years, and I worked my ass off. And I had to live in LA and I was stuck there, but I wasn't actually. In any given moment, I could have chosen within myself to move towards what I actually wanted to experience. And I'm so grateful to the past version of me who woke up one morning and said, I really believe that I could be a successful YouTuber. I know that I want to travel the world. Why am I still here? I just had this moment of awakening where I was like, this is stupid. Why am I forcing myself to do what everyone else and society and all the people around me are doing? Now understand, everybody's not doing that, by the way. Because of the law of attraction, you are attracting people who are a vibrational match for you. So if you want to experience really big change, if you want to experience a difference in society, in relationships, with everyone, with everything, you can. You just have to put out that feeling first. You have to start focusing on the goodness in people. You have to focusing on the abundance that's in your life, and you will literally attract it, and you'll see. So once again, I really hope that this did help you. If you have any specific questions or you want to clarify something, let me know below and I will answer the comments. I'm doing my best to respond to all the comments and stuff lately. The last thing I'll say is that I've been having a lot of personal conversations with you guys lately that I love. And I want you to know, I'm assuming if you're still here in this video, then you're someone this might be relevant to. I want you to know that when you post a comment on the video and I respond to it, if you respond to my response, I don't get a notification and I will not see it. So it'll just seem like I don't actually care to have more of the conversation, but I do. What you need to do is post a new comment. See, post your comment, then I respond to it, and then your response, post in a new comment. You see what I'm saying? Then I'll actually see it and get a notification. Okay. Yeah, I think that's it. If you have any questions or want to see more videos like this, let me know. I'm kind of interested in doing more videos like this more recently. I like it. So much love. See you soon.